and welcome to TheOvershield.com. My name is Andrew Holmes, and this is another episode of The Overshield Interviews. With me today to join in on the fun is Corey.
Hi, folks. I'm not in charge this time.
Nope. For once, which is, if the production value is down, it's my fault. And today we have a very, very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, Graeme Warring is my name. Nice to meet you.
All right. And Mr. Warring, would you care to explain what you do, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. Andrew, we've represent two different game studios. One of them is 2XL Games, which is a leading producer of mobile and previously done a lot of work in the console business, specializing primarily in racing and off-road racing. And I'm the chief operating officer of that company. And Fun Guy Studio, which is a studio which I started several years ago that produces a lot of kids MMO content, does site moderation, and then we produce mobile games primarily on a work for hire basis.
No.
Okay. I know that a lot of the times you don't directly have anything to do with the development of the games, but out of all the games that you've been a part of, have you ever had a particular favorite or something that you just enjoy playing yourself?
Probably the one that I really, enjoy playing and keep coming back to is Ricky Carmichael's Motocross Matchup. It's a great game. There's a lot of content and levels through there, and it's great being able to to match up against some random person and race them. So it's a game that I never get tired of playing.
All right. Corey, do you have a question?
Yes. My question is fairly simple. When and how exactly did you start into the game industry? Were you a tester? Were you a business person?
I got into it back in probably 2007. I didn't have a background in games at all. I actually moved to the United States from Australia and acquired a small toy company. And when I bought the business, I kind of looked at what I thought was the direction or the future direction of kids' entertainment and toys. And I thought that mobile and web gaming was going to play a huge part of that, with an integrated program of toys and mobile apps and web apps. So I decided to build an online game around kind of like Club Penguin or Webkins, like everybody else does. And when I kind of got the nasty sticker shock as to how much it's going to cost to do, I decided to open my own studio and just do it myself. If I was going to spend that much money, I figured I might as well create a business out of it. So that's what we did.
Well, it ain't cheap. That's the truth.
Yeah, really.
So, if someone was going to want to do what you do, other than having, obviously a lot of money because it costs a lot, what advice would you give someone?
I think the game developers tend to go off, on tangents pretty quickly and easily, and start to believe their own PR, that they're the latest and greatest and all the rest of it. The big thing that I've discovered in this business is that distribution is king. And, you can have a pretty mediocre game with great distribution and make a fortune out of it. And you can have the best game in the world with lousy distribution, and you'll be eating potato chips for the rest of your life. So, distribution is really key. So anyone who was getting into this business to begin with, I would counsel to really focus on what their distribution strategy is, and try and come up with a bulletproof model for gaining traction as quickly as you possibly can, because it's very expensive. The acquiring users of games now is becoming extremely expensive, and it's only going to keep going up.
While we're on the subject of distribution, what do you think of, say, some analysts like Mr. Pachter, or I'm just throwing out some big names in terms of game industry analysts, who see that the future of game distribution is going to be, let's say, on mobile platforms or online platforms?
Well, I think the future of distribution is going to be digital. There's no question about that. The days of boxing and shipping product is fast coming to an end, and there's really no need to do it. The industry's been very disrupted by the iTunes store first, and then by Google Play and so on, and then following on from that, XBLA and PSN have gone on to redefine the digital distribution of console games. I think digital distribution is clearly the way to go. It's going to become, it's not so much for me, it's not so much a case of how you distribute it, whether it's digital or not. It's just getting cut through with the tens and tens and tens of thousands of apps that are getting released every week. How do you rise to the top? How do you get visibility, and how do you stay there?
All right.
And that's a very different problem to have. Back in the day, and I think this is what has completely disrupted the business, is big publishers like THQ or EA and so on would have significant enough shelf space and planogram space with major retailers to be able to command slots in retail, and then their job was to just fill the slots. You don't have that luxury anymore, and a little guy can be just as effective as a big guy, and it's changed the game.
Okay, so what do you believe inspired you to do what you do, essentially? Was there something in particular, a certain company, or just a certain game or something when you were younger? What made you want to be in the video game industry?
Watching my children play, actually. I've got two boys who are now 13 and 12, and when I got into this, they were 5-6 years younger, so they're quite young, and just watching how they migrated away from traditional things that they would pick up and play with, which is what I did when I was a kid, and probably what you guys did. And it was much more about getting their hands on an Xbox controller, and then of course when the iPhone came out, getting their hands on that and playing with those games, and that's really what inspired me, because it was a generational shift that you could see happening right in front of your eyes, and it was a very exciting time.
All right.
Would you really consider yourself a gamer?
I mean, I would, but I'm not a hardcore gamer.
Okay, okay.
I'm not-
I
I'm
think that would have been a more appropriate question. Is would you consider yourself a hardcore gamer?
No, not even close. I've got the attention span of a gnat. So for me, a game that's good for me is one that's got to keep me entertained for a few minutes and, that I can come back to. I struggle to even spend 20 minutes playing the game because I've just got so many other things going on. And I'm not unusual. I think what's broadened the market for gaming and really what's brought it into public consciousness beyond the niche that it previously was the fact that anyone can sort of participate in these little mini games and it's kind of changed. It's taken it away from real gaming to entertainment, and there's a bit of a shift in the paradigm, in my view, that has broadened the market enormously over the last few years.
Sir, just a few more questions. I don't want to take too much of your time.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you can actually say anything, but what are you guys currently working on now? Is there maybe just, a little something you can give our viewers that may not be, quite out there yet? And if not, completely understandable, but, I have to ask.
Yeah. No, look, without getting into the weeds, we kind of determine our product development cycles around not only things that our customers are familiar with and want us to do more of, but genres that are clearly trending in a popular way, and that we can see that there's a significant market interest in. So we continue to put our resources into mobile. We just launched a title, Jeremy McGrath's Off-Road Racing, on PSN and XBLA a couple of months ago, and it's doing pretty well. But the real opportunity now is definitely in mobile, and also looking to partner with brands and other companies that are looking to that have got a brand that they want to take to mobile, but not necessarily having the skills and the wherewithal to make that happen. So we've got an appetite for partnering with organisations that have got strong brand, have got strong distribution, and where we can financially participate in taking that to the mobile and web markets.
All right. Now, Corey, what's one final thing you would like to ask Mr. Warring?
All right. So I would like to ask you a very personal question. You don't have to answer your 2 and 2. Might be a little embarrassing, but I must ask. Mr. Warring, what is your favorite color?
Really? That's your final question.
What?
My favorite. It's a compelling question. I would have to say blue.
All right. And on that note, I guess from me, Corey, and on behalf of TheOvershield.com, we would like to say thank you so much for letting us interview you, and we hope you have a wonderful night.
Thanks, mate. It's good to talk to you guys.
Anytime.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.